one of our family friends took me driving alone to show me the city. I'm from Los Angeles, and there's very strict driving rules in Los Angeles. And there was a garbage truck or something in front of us, and he swerved into the opposite coming traffic and swerved back. And I think it actually blew my mind. I was just completely shaken, and I felt like this is like the Wild West out here. So I have to live here.
The hardest thing about not having a space is not having an identity as the company that does all this. And people don't think of theaters as companies. They think of them as buildings. We don't have a permanent space. That is intentional. From day one, I knew I never wanted a space, especially because of the real estate market and realities in New York. I didn't want any of my time to be involved with maintaining a physical space. Well, my favorite space to perform is always the Ohio Theater. Not only because of the physical space, but because of the ghosts in that place. And because of Robert Lyons, who gives you the keys and says, here.
I was in Paris in '85 when Madonna was first catching on there.
But the thing that scares me much more than performance venues is rehearsal space. And we have had a fairly consistent rehearsal space in the neighborhood, which is in jeopardy right now. And I'm terrified by that because it was a permanent space where we could go 6 days a week. If we lose that space, it will completely change how we work, and I'm terrified of that. We did a show in '95 at the Brooklyn Bridge in Anchorage. It's the legs of the bridge. Oh my goodness. That was a challenging space, primarily because of the limestone. We all got really, really bad lung infections from the lung, because we rehearsed there for 3 months, and the rats. But the most challenging space of all was moving in a bus in the South Bronx. That was a challenge. So there was a lot of technology in a moving bus in the South Bronx. Do I have to say more?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the neighborhood of Hunts Point.
Yeah, we needed a space. We wanted a space. We just came around the block and saw this big, beautiful building from where we live in Hunts Point. And we asked the landlords if we could perform here. It's a big, beautiful, open space. I have a dance company. That's what we need, is space. And they said yes. And so they basically gave us the space as is, windows all busted out, and good friends and family came in, built a floor, raised some money for a heater, and continued from there.
We, I guess, sparked the imagination of the owner of the building, and they made studios, and the initial tenants of the studios down the hall were all visual artists, painters, sculptors, photographers.
Spaces only exist because artists make them exist.
I was the technical director of Chashama from 1998 to about 2002, simultaneously an artist in residence. So for the first 4 or 5 years of NTUSA's existence, we had spaces on 42nd Street. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know what people are talking about. There's no space in New York. Look at all this space we get to have. It was pretty magical, actually. It was like a playground. The buildings were going to be shut down, so we could really do whatever we wanted to the spaces. In 2003, we moved to Dumbo. We were given spaces on sort of a 6-month to a year basis. It's great when you're young and you're making and you just want to create something and you feel the temporariness and you loving the temporariness of it. As we became more established and we grew older, we started to realize we can't spend all of our resources moving our shop and all of our stuff into a new space that might only be available for 6 months. So we started making things that could potentially go in and out of theaters instead of building things for specific sites.
You should count yourself lucky that you're not one of them, out there, chewing on someone's brain.
Yeah, I feel homeless sometimes. It would be nice to have a home base again. But the landscape keeps shifting and we keep trying to adapt and evolve.
It's gonna continue forever.
Space, it's a big deal. A place to think and a place to work makes all the difference.